Hi, my name is Aoife Crowe. I'm a researcher in environmental science here in the University of Galway. You are all very welcome to our first episode of News Stories from the School of Natural Sciences. Natural sciences help us to better understand the world around us, both in a physical sense, where we learn about how our planet was formed, how our environment behaves and changes, and how the living organisms on our planet evolve around those changes, but also theoretically, where we learn about the laws and processes that actually allow for the existence of our natural world. To begin our episode, we start our journey at a very small scale, looking at the tiniest organisms that exist in our oceans, known as microscopic algae or phytoplankton. And though small in size, these phytoplankton have enormous impacts on the surrounding environment. And they do this through their innate ability to absorb and remove carbon dioxide from the water around them and actually produce oxygen as a byproduct. A research team here in the university are looking at this process and trying to find out how much carbon dioxide phytoplankton can actually remove. We caught up with Dr. Brian Ward and his team to find out more about this really interesting research.
So this is a project which is concerned with the biological carbon pump, which is a means by which carbon dioxide is transferred from the atmosphere to the ocean. And that is as a result of photosynthesis of phytoplankton. The estimates are that without phytoplankton blooms in the ocean, we would have twice the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere than we have today. We're going to the Labrador Sea. We were there in 2022, so this is a follow-up cruise. It's one of the largest phytoplankton blooms in any of the world's ocean. The main objective for this research voyage is to try and determine how much carbon dioxide first gets transmitted or absorbed or transmitted out of the atmosphere into the ocean, and then secondly, how much gets transmitted from the surface ocean into the deep ocean. It will take several years of data analysis and working with our Canadian collaborators to tease out all the information. It's very hard to predict what discoveries you're going to make. You may go out with the intention to study one thing, but you may come back with the data which shows something completely new and something completely different.
Some fantastic research there, and we are all really eager to hear the results of it in the future. So next up on our episode, we move up the scale from microscopic life to animal life, and we learn about a very important insect group, the honeybees. Honeybees are ecologically very important, and this is due to their provision of beneficial ecosystem services, in particular plant pollination. By pollinating plants, these bees help to produce more food for us and other life forms. So they help to support biodiversity and maintain the healthy functioning of ecosystems overall. In Ireland, it was believed that our native Irish honeybee had gone extinct in the wild. However, a team of zoologists here at the university have carried out some really interesting research, and they have found that this might not be the case. We spoke to Grace McCormack and her team to find out more about this research, and we heard about the recent setup of a citizen science recording scheme for our native Irish honeybees, aptly called Plan B.
So what we're doing today is we're transferring a wild honeybee swarm into a habitat box. So this is a log hive, and this is part of the University of Galway's voluntary conservation area for the native Irish honeybee. It was thought that wild honeybees went extinct here in the late 1990s when a parasitic mite came in. We asked back in 2016 for people to report in wild colonies, and we got lots reported, and we studied them for 3 years, and we found that they survive. Without the chemicals that beekeepers use, honeybees can survive in the wild in Ireland, and it's probably because we have a large, well-adapted population of these bees here. Citizen science is really important for this. And we've set up a monitoring tool on we've a new website called the Galway Honeybee Research Centre. And on that, people can, once they identify a wild colony, they can contact us. We give them a unique login, and we ask them to register and log in just 4 times a year to document the activity. But ultimately what we want to do is really continue this work in Ireland. We're really leading the way in Ireland because we have such a wonderful population. People in Europe are looking to Ireland now because we are the last stronghold for this subspecies.
A very positive story there, learning about the survival of our native Irish honeybee. And as someone who studies insects for a living, it's really great to see such wonderful conservation measures being put in place to protect our bee populations into the future. Next in this episode, we move up the scale quite considerably. We leave the surface of this Earth and push far beyond the limits of our own solar system to investigate distant worlds in the Milky Way Galaxy at the very earliest stages of their development. A team of international researchers are working together to understand the complex but fascinating process of planet formation using a newly built telescope. This telescope has already captured some amazing imagery of young stars and disks of gas and dust, helping us to understand how planets begin to form. We had the opportunity to talk to astrophysicist Dr. Christine Ginsky to find out more about this really incredible research.
This is the first survey of its kind. There have been smaller surveys around fewer stars in the past, but due to the new instrumentation, we were able now to go to much lower mass stars, which means to stars that are much more similar to our own sun. And now we really scoured whole star-forming regions to look at many of those disks, which gives us a much better idea how planet formation looks in its very early stages. We have obtained many images of these planet-forming disks, and now the next stage is that we're trying to analyze them. So why do they show certain structures? Why are they showing certain brightness patterns? So we're trying to get to the little dust particles that make up the disk and that eventually form into planets. Part of this observation time was granted to us because I was part of the team that built the instrument for ESO. None of this would have been possible without this wonderful team of incredible people that I'm so privileged to work with, especially my collaborators in the Netherlands and in France and in Italy. Being able to observe such a large number of these beautiful objects, yeah, that's just incredible to me. So to me, this is one of the most important things that I've done so far in my research career.
It's amazing to think that this university is directly contributing to the instrumentation of the world's largest telescope, and that our very own astronomers will have the privilege to use it. We are all very excited to see the results that come from this incredible research. The planetary scientist Carl Sagan once famously said that the cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself. I think that this concept unites all three of our news stories, despite them being very different in topic and scale, and taking us literally on a journey from tiny organisms in the oceans to huge planets in the depths of space. What all of these stories have in common is they teach us more about the world around us, why things are the way they are, and they excite us for future research that could be done to discover more. So join us next time when we find out about more exciting research being carried out in the School of Natural Sciences here in the University of Galway.